Hey guys, we are back with another comic-based Marvel Legends figure in the Spider-Man Molten Man wave. Taking a look today at the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman figure, and just look at that humongous glob of nasty-looking plastic. So we've got her here in the standard Legends packaging as usual, as you would expect. We've got her in the window, Spider-Man logo down on the bottom, artwork on the side with that same artwork on the back, just a little bigger, and then we've got a write-up, our Build-A-Figure shot, as well as the lineup for the wave. So let's do it. Let's pull her out, take a look. And here she is out of the package, our second Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter. For me personally, this has always been my favorite version, and it really comes down to the suit and the look. I've just really liked this particular style when it comes to a Spider-Woman, and it translates pretty well into figure form, and they gave her a pretty decent accessory, which honestly was kind of surprising for this release. So I couldn't miss this one, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's jump in and take a look at Articulation, see how she moves. It's a female Marvel Legends figure. I don't think you're going to be surprised, but we'll do it anyway. So the head cannot move backwards at all or up because she has a massive head of hair. She can look down really far, and then of course you can rotate all the way around. Arms go out, they rotate. You've got a rotating single jointed elbow, but they give you 90 degrees, so it's pretty solid movement. Hinges and rotation at that wrist. You've got your diaphragm swivel, so all the way around, side to side, forward and backward. Legs go out about that far, not the greatest. They kick forward really far, more than 90, backwards a little bit. Cut at the thigh, double jointed knees, and then of course you've got your rocker and hinge down at the ankle. So she moves, you know, for all intents and purposes. She moves just like every other Marvel Legends female we pretty much always get. No surprises, nothing extra, but nothing missing either. But of course, like I mentioned, my main draw for this figure wasn't Articulation. It's the look. It's this particular look for a Spider-Woman that I wanted to have in figure form. I don't have hardly any female spider-related characters at all. A very, very small number of them. But this is one that I couldn't pass up. And my figure is definitely not perfect in one small way, but I can't not see it anymore. But overall, it's a pretty solid figure. If you're interested in this character, there's really no reason not to get this one. So, you know, she is, of course, on a pretty standard body for Legends. Nothing really crazy to write home about. It is a black and white costume, so what you see is what you get. We've got some white on the legs, black on the legs, white on the arms, black on the arms. And then, of course, you've got a black torso with the white spider emblem, which honestly is painted okay at best. It is a little hazy, and it's not the greatest. Mine has one little paint flub on it, and that's what's really bugging me about my figure in particular. There is a little smudge up here on one of the spider legs, which I can't not see anymore. And then, of course, you've got the same design that wraps around to the back. So it's a pretty solid representation of her look. I do have, of course, a few paint QC issues, but I think this is a good style for this particular character. I think the body that they used, despite the fact being very similar to most female bodies, works well for Spider-Woman. It conveys that very slender but fit look, and it works really well for her. My only real problem is I wish the legs on the spider emblem were a little richer in color, and then, of course, I wish I didn't have this guy. But for my money, a lot of my maybe pseudo mini gripes are just kind of swept away when it comes to the face, because I think the head sculpt for this particular figure works really, really well. And ultimately that comes down to it being an attractive head sculpt. I just really like the way this looks. I think it conveys this particular Spider-Woman's look and feel very well. It's a nice tan skin tone with the mask that covers the upper half of the face. You've got the telltale spider eyes and some really cleanly applied pinkish red lips. It just works. It's kind of basic. It's very minimalistic. There's not a great deal going on in the face, but it definitely looks like her, and I think they got her comic likeness down pretty well. Not to mention the fact that there is a lot going on with this hair. It is kind of going all over the place, a nice windswept look, and I think it's just a nice sculpt. It does, of course, limit articulation a bit, but it flows with the character really well, and it definitely fits this style. And there's a ton of sculpt on that head of hair, and there's also a lot of paint in there to bring out the kind of blondes, light browns, and darker browns. So, you know, for my money, it definitely is the selling point for this figure in terms of the overall body and just the base figure itself. Of course, I do have that one little paint flub on the chest, but for me, this head really steals the show. Now, as far as accessories goes, they gave her pretty much the only thing I really wanted, and that is a webbing effect. So, you know, she's got kind of that psionic webbing ability, and I think they did a pretty good job here. Generally speaking, most spider-related figures don't get a lot of effect type of pieces even when they need webbing. So I'm really happy that she actually comes with something. And this is a complete swap for her right hand. So pop it out and then this will peg back in. It only has swivel articulation. It has no hinge or anything, but it's got kind of a blast effect at the base. And then you've got a full web, so you can have her kind of throw in a web at someone or just doing whatever you want to do with it. I like it. I think it's a great accessory to include. It very much plays up her power set, and it looks cool. What more could you really ask for? So overall, despite the fact that I do have that little paint flub on the torso, I'm really happy with this figure. This is, again, my preferred look for Spider-Woman, especially for this particular Spider-Woman. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to be able to jump on this one, but it's a solid figure. It moves well. It's got a nice accessory. It's got a great head sculpt. And for the most part, it just works well as this particular Spider-Woman, so she will go alongside the very few female spider figures that I do have, but I think she'll make a good addition to the shelf no matter what. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Woman figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.